Matsuoka again, and we're going to learn how to factor with the difference of two squares. So let me explain the name first. So difference of two squares is it's a difference. So when you have a difference, it's the answer to a subtraction problem. So that's why all of these here have minus signs, because they're the differences. Two squares. So two squares means you can take the square root of both of the ones that we're working with. So you can take the square root of x squared, and you can take the square root of 4. You can take the square root of 4, and you can take the square root of 9. That's what the name means. So when we factor the difference of two squares, we're going to take the square roots, really. So we're taking the square root of the first one, which is x, and the square root of the second one, which is 2. So we're going to have one that's plus and one that's minus. Some of you might be wondering, why aren't they both negative? Because we have a minus sign in the middle. Well, let me show you the really cool thing about why. So when you multiply this out, this becomes x squared. If you multiply those two, that's minus 2x. These two, that's going to be plus 2x. And these two, that's minus 4. Now watch. These two cancel out. So these two completely cancel out. The reason they cancel out is because one of them was negative and one was positive. So that's why they're different signs here, because you need them to cancel out. So those middle terms cancel out because you need them to cancel out. So those middle terms cancel out, leaving us with just the x squared minus 4, and that's why they're two different signs. Okay, let's do another one. So again, we're taking the square roots. So the square root of 4x squared is 2x. The square root of 9 is 3. So this is going to be 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. So like I said, all we're doing is taking the square roots. One of them is going to be plus, one will be minus. Okay, here's our last one before the bonus question. This one's a little bit trickier because if you look at these, none of them are perfect squares. Right? You can't take the square root of 200, and you can't take the square root of 98. So let's think about what we can do here. They both have something in common. They both have a 2 in common. So we're going to factor out the 2. We talked about factoring stuff out a couple of videos ago. So we're going to factor out a 2. So that's going to be 200 x squared over 2 minus 98 over 2. And now we're reducing again, if you remember. So it's going to be 2, and now we have this 100 x squared minus 49. And now both of these are perfect squares. So I can take the square root of 100 x squared, that gives me 10x. And I can take the square root of 49, that gives me 7. So that's going to be 10x plus 7, and then 10x minus 7. Notice how I only have the 2 right there. I don't have the 2 in both places, because if I had it in both places, that would mean that I have a 2 times this other 2. I only want one 2 out there, so I'm just going to leave it out there in the very front. That's the only place it's going to show up. So there's my answer. And here is your bonus question. So it's going to be 27x squared minus 300. Good luck!